Since ancient times, in the riverside village, people have whispered about the Black Lantern. On the night of the Mid-Autumn Festival, if anyone dares to foolishly hang it on the old banyan tree at the village gate, disaster will befall. 3 absolute prohibitions. Do not light any flame other than the moonlight when hanging the lantern. Do not let children touch the lantern. And most importantly, never laugh or play around the Black Lantern. For when laughter echoes beneath the full moon, the lion dance drums will turn into funeral cries. Children will become wandering spirits, and the one who hung the lantern will bear a blood curse for the entire village. Mark these words well. The Black Lantern can only be destroyed when it is burned with the blood of the very one who hung it. If not, every Mid-Autumn Festival, the moon will once again turn red as blood, and the curse will repeat until the end of time. "Josh!" Nathan shouted, panic surging as he bolted into the dark. The group rushed after him, hearts pounding, but beneath the flickering glow they found only a cracked paper mask, stained with fresh, warm blood. No sign of Josh, no running footsteps, no struggle marks, as if he had been swallowed whole, erased completely, leaving behind nothing but the bloodied mask. Then, laughter. Childlike giggles erupted across the village, no longer innocent or playful, but warped and jagged, high-pitched, echoing like fractured glass grinding in the ear. The sound rose from beneath the earth, mingling with the warped lion drums, now nothing but deep, choking beats, mourning cries of the damned. Nathan froze, his hand trembling violently. Mia stood paralyzed, her heart pounding in her chest. Tate was gasping for breath, his eyes bulging in terror as he looked around. The kids. Where are the village kids? They all turned. The children with painted masks from before had vanished. The courtyard of the communal hall now stood deserted, save for the swaying lanterns, their faint light casting patchy shadows on the walls. No laughter, no drums. Ravenmoor Village had sunk into a chilling silence. Only the wind tearing through the leaves and the faint, grinding rustle of paper lanterns, like the gnashing of unseen teeth. They're all gone, Mia whispered, her voice thick with dread. The 4 remaining huddled together under the ancient banyan tree, trembling as they stared at the Black Lantern swaying above. Its eerie bluish-purple flame flared, revealing a grotesque vision inside. A distorted face pressed against the paper from within. It was Josh. His features were twisted, his eyes rolled back in blood, his mouth stretched wide in a voiceless scream for help. But he was trapped inside that black shell, convulsing in desperate agony, unable to escape. Troy collapsed to his knees, his face drained of color, lips quivering. No, this can't be. The Mid-Autumn Festival night, once meant to be radiant and full of joy, had twisted into a nightmare bathed in crimson, and this nightmare had only just begun. Part 4. The Spiral of Horror. A blood-stained mid-autumn night. The 4 stood petrified under the banyan tree. The Black Lantern blazed above them like a demonic eye, glaring down, within its bluish-purple flame. Josh's face writhed, screaming in silence, etched as if molten into the infernal fire. The warped drum beats from the courtyard echoed back, sometimes deep, sometimes piercing, mingling with the howling wind and the ghastly laughter of children. A macabre symphony that rattled every nerve and vein in their bodies. We have to run, Tate screamed, his voice cracking under the weight of terror. No one argued. Nathan grabbed Mia's hand and pulled her forward. Troy and Tate scrambled after them. They darted through narrow alleys, past peeling village walls. But something was wrong. The once familiar Ravenmoor had transformed. The straight roads now curved into a labyrinth, every turn bringing them back to where they started. Their footsteps no longer struck solid earth, but echoed hollowly, as though they were running across a bottomless void. Children's laughter erupted all around, at first faint and distant, drifting from the edge of the sky. But then, one by one, the voices crept closer, closing in. Some shrill, some raspy, merging into a monstrous chorus like countless rotting throats chanting together. They're surrounding us, Mia gasped, her eyes wild with panic. Suddenly a lion dance troupe appeared at the end of the alley. But this was no festive sight. Towering lion figures staggered forward, their bodies torn apart, scales not made of colored paper, but of decaying flesh, caked with dried blood. Every step made their bones crack, fragments falling away, their massive heads gaped wide, not fabric and paint, but skulls crudely stitched together. Within their hollow sockets, bluish-purple fire burned faintly. Leading the procession was a faceless child. Its head was smooth and blank, nothing but taut, pale skin stretched tight, like a ghastly mask. It wore a ragged straw cloak, and in its hand it held the blazing black lantern, the bluish flame casting its form as though it were the sinister priest of some infernal ritual. "Run!" Troy screamed hoarsely, his face drained of blood. The four bolted, but the monstrous lions lumbered after them, grotesque bodies moving with terrifying speed. Their footsteps thundered like war drums, pounding straight into their chests. In the chaos, Tate stumbled and fell hard against the stone ground. Troy spun back, panic-stricken, reaching to help him up. But in that very moment, one of the colossal lions lunged. Its skull mouth yawned wide and in an instant swallowed Tate whole. "Tate!" Mia shrieked, her scream slicing through the night like a knife. The agonized cries of Tate did not escape from the lion's mouth, but instead echoed from deep within its hollow belly like a cavern. "Help! Help me! Help! Help!" The voice was warped, reverberating in endless layers until it suddenly cut off. The lion raised its head. From its gaping jaws oozed a thick, black sludge, foul and reeking, spreading across the ground like a pool of tar blood. Nathan screamed and dragged Mia into a frantic run. Troy bit his lip until it bled, tears streaming down his face, not daring to look back. They darted through crooked alleys, but every path twisted and stretched endlessly, as if the village itself had become a living maze, devouring them step by step. The moon above had transformed. Once bright and round, it was now a dark crimson, like a vast pool of blood. Its light stretched their shadows into infinite nooses, writhing across the ground. Troy froze in horror when he realized his own shadow no longer followed his movements. When he raised his hand, the shadow knelt. When he turned his head, the shadow looked the other way, staring into the abyss behind him. This isn't the village anymore," Mia whispered in despair. "This is somewhere else." Nathan tightened his grip on her hand, grinding out each word through clenched teeth. "Bite down and survive. Listen to me. We have to survive. Do you understand? They stumbled forward and suddenly found themselves in a wide courtyard. It was the communal hall, but warped, grotesque, no longer the familiar place of gathering. Above them, hundreds of lanterns swayed in the air, but these were no longer red or golden lanterns. Every single one had turned into the severed heads of children. The heads dangled in the wind, their eye sockets hollow, lips cracked as though half-stitched shut. From their gaping mouths, chunks of mooncake fell, rotten and green with mold, reeking of decay. Laughter bubbled from them all, overlapping into a distorted chorus, like a sick parody of a lantern parade that echoed without end. Nathan, Mia, and Troy shrank together, hearts pounding erratically. The once beloved Mid-Autumn Festival had been perverted into a vision of hell. No longer a celebration, but a blood ritual, where the souls of dead children demanded back what had been stolen. Behind them, the ghostly lion troop trudged closer. The beast that had swallowed Tate let out a hollow roar, like the beat of a funeral drum. Within its flaming eye sockets, Tate's face flickered, twisted, his flesh torn, lips seared with blood as they mouthed pleas for help. But his cries were lost, unheard by anyone. Troy collapsed onto the damp stone floor, clutching his head, sobbing like a madman. "It's my fault. All of this is my fault. I should never have hung that cursed lantern," Mia shrieked, clawing at her hair, her eyes wild with madness. Nathan's face was pale as death, yet his eyes still burned faintly with desperate resolve, a fragile will to cling to life. The suffocating darkness closed in tighter. The three of them understood all too well. This mid-autumn night would not end here. It would claim more. And their only escape lay in uncovering the truth, hidden within the blazing black lantern that burned above them like a demon's eye.